Hello, everyone in Facebook, and then everyone here on IG. I am excited that we get to do this live and get to share guidance on a few things. Thank you, Adam, for the hearts. Thank you, Ramrod, for joining. Welcome. Today, I'm going to be sharing guidance on the feminine embodiment and the 7 rays of consciousness. And today specifically, I'm going to talk about the fortress within the feminine. And, one of the things that I've been learning, I would say it's been years, but here in the last 7 to 8 months, it's been a little more, I don't want to say the word intense, but that's really the good word that I can use right now to describe it. But it's just been a little more intentional in how divine, the angel, spirit have been teaching me about these rays of light within the feminine. So I'm going to talk about the first one and what it looks like, and also what it looks like when it's not being embodied, but also what it looks like when it's fully embodied. And I am going to be at the end giving some tools that can be explored for anyone who feels inspired to really awaken further that ray. So again, today's ray is on fortress. And I am going to pull my notes because I want to make sure I share from the guidance that was being given. But the feminine embodiment and these 7 rays, the first one is connected to fortress, protector, and warrior. And as I was mentioning, just to give a little backdrop to all of this, the last 6 to 7 to 8, actually, thank you, I'm being corrected. The last 9 months specifically, I've been getting visited by huge manifestations of the feminine. And they've all been teaching me very specific energies around the feminine and how there is this opportunity for us to awaken more of our connection, our gifts, hello Anne, our accessibility to the divine, our accessibility to our gifts, to manifest, create, to heal, to lead others, not just ourselves. So there's this movement that is not just taking place collectively, but it's really being pulled within all feminine. So it's more of what we're going to be sharing here tonight. And again, the ray for today is called the fortress, the protector, and the warrior. And these are names and titles that were given to me. So this is not something that I'm like, okay, what would match the energy? This is actually something that the angels were giving me specifically for this ray. So as you're listening and as you're hearing, whatever resonates, lean in. And whatever doesn't resonate, that's okay. Step back and just allow yourself to listen. Because from experience, people who have joined me for events, for lives, for different things that I've shared, they have felt stuff move. And those who are familiar with my work, they know that things can unfold within our time together, but also things can continue to unfold, including movement and healing and clarity that goes outside just our time together. So one thing they started saying is like when this ray is out of balance for the feminine, when this ray is not being fully given the energy, the attention, the flow, the alignment that it requires, you may feel this need of defense, right? You feel a sense of needing to defend. There might be fear. There might be, insecurities that show up mentally, emotionally. There might, they're saying physically there might be a weight that you feel in your body. Like a deep sadness. And they're saying it's felt a lot in the belly with this specific ray. So this is, again, when it's out of balance. They audibly also said that when this ray is out of balance, there is this need to pull away, to protect, to feel unsafe. Thank you. And they're moving energy to that. And there's this sense of experience in which there's a part of you that feels guarded. And they audibly said guarded territory, guarded in your territory. So my hallucination around that is that the guarded territory can be your body. The guarded territory can be those things you're working on. Your guarded territory can just be you in general as the feminine and feeling guarded with who you are. Thank you. And your own sense of self is what they're saying. Then there also might be experiences in which you're being passive aggressive with others, passive aggressive, even with maybe how you're handling and dealing and coping with your own self and with how you feel. Thank you. Hello, Danielle. Hello, Var. So part of what they're sharing, that the reason this is just important to give attention, to feed, to align, to bring into harmony is because, again, it can really throw people, the feminine, it can throw the feminine off when this specific ray, and these are the ways when this specific ray is not being fed and this specific ray is not being supported. We are going to talk more about this in the women's retreat. So those who want to explore more, please do reach out, as more of this is going to be shared here in the next few days of the different rays. So when this ray is being fed, when this ray is awakened, when this ray is aligned, these are the things that you would feel. And they said, when is aligned? There's a sense of clarity and purpose. And I kept being shown the way that the angels and this beautiful feminine embodiments were showing me. It's like there's this tapping that takes place. And one of the things that's so beautiful about the feminine is that intuition is very organic. It's more organic for the feminine than the masculine. That doesn't mean it doesn't come to the masculine. So I want to make that very clear. But because the way society teaches us, the way that things unfold, and also the way that the feminine is designed, there is a different level of accessibility. It's also even connected with the way the brain works, right? The feminine brain. And again, this is what's interesting, because I was asking them this. So some of you that are listening, you might be asking, well, is this men or women? This is not necessarily about men and women. This is connected more to the idea about the feminine brain and the masculine brain. So for some of you, you might be a woman, but you have more of a masculine framework. For some of you might be a male and you may have more of a feminine framework, right? The way your brain works, the way your emotions work, the way you process and experience life. And that could be connected to the way you were raised, or that could be connected just like this is just how you were born. So when I'm talking about feminine, I want to make sure that to acknowledge that there's some men that might be listening and this is going to resonate. So it's not just for the women. So that's why I'm very specific using the word feminine. So when this is aligned, the feminine herself, or that feminine energy, thank you, is very available to intuition, to receiving insights. So when this ray specifically is in alignment, I was being shown the angel and these beautiful waves of light moving through the third eye, allowing people to know that when this is in alignment and this ray is in that state of flow, there's a lot of insights that can come in. They can come through your sleep, they can come through your day, they can come through whatever it is you're working with, or even who you're talking to, or things that you are trying to expand. It becomes more accessible. They audibly also said that there is this deeper anchoring that happens, in which there is this sense of everything is working out. There's a sense of deep knowing that there is this understanding that deep down you can surrender and have faith and know that things are working out. And they audibly said, even when the path isn't clear, when this ray is really fed and awakened, there is this sense of knowing that takes over. And then the next thing that they said, that there's an aliveness and appreciation with the self that takes over. And again, this is one of those things that, yes, there's aspects to it that are logical, but there's a greater you that takes over when this ray is being fed, and when this ray is fully aligned, when this ray is fully open, and when this ray is really being moved into a place of availability. 777-3435. I just saw somebody put a number, so I'll come back to that and give some insights into what those numbers may mean, if that resonates. So there's another thing that they said, that this ray also represents that all things are possible. There's this, again, deep knowing that all things are possible. And one of the things that they said, which was really interesting, they said that there's also this sense of more carelessness. And I laughed a little bit, because I'm like, oh, guys, I don't know how many people want to feel more careless. But what they meant by that is that because there is a sense of more carelessness, is because you're being pulled by faith. So there is more trusting. There's more spontaneity. There's more of being delivered and trusting that you're being delivered by this guiding force, again, which represents your fortress. And I'm going to go ahead and go real quickly through some tools of alignment. And again, what you're going to be hearing in the next few days as I share these different rays is that this is part of what we're going to be going into deeper. We're going to explore deeper. We're going to learn the tools. We're going to fully wake up these rays within the feminine here in the retreat that's coming up at the end of the month. But every day here in the next few days, hi Ashley, is that we're really going to tap into giving you guys all tools. So whether you join me live on the retreat or not, my intention is just to offer some tools of clarity of what happens when these rays are off, right? When these rays aren't being seen and appreciated or connected with, and when these rays are being aligned, connected, and fed, what happens. So you can understand why it is important and why this is part of what we're teaching right now. And again, we'll always end with a few tools for you to explore. So I asked them, well, what are some of the tools that we can very easily talk about tonight to help the feminine move these things into alignment? It doesn't mean it's going to move you into those things very quickly, but it's a way to start feeding that ray. Hello, Kathy. So one of the tools that they said is movement of the body. For those of you who know me, is that I love to move my body to music. And I'll be honest, I haven't been doing it as much as I used to. Back in the days, I used to do it every day. And I would play my playlist and move my body and dance. Sometimes I looked like I was doing the merengue, other times the salsa, other times just went a little crazy and just jumped around. Yes, the emoji of the dancing girl. So it was different every time, but I would just allow myself to be in the joy of moving my body and letting music be part of that experience. So again, music was a way for me to move my body. For some of you, it might be working out, it might be running, it might be yoga, it might be stretching, but it's just movement in the body is a way to bring this ray into alignment. And those again that are joining here a little later, I'm talking about the 7 rays of consciousness for the feminine embodiment. The first ray tonight is the fortress. The fortress, the vibration within that fortress energy includes protector energy and warrior energy. And I'm going to make sure I go back to explaining why it was protector and warrior and why it was described that way. So I'm just giving tools right now for those who are hopping in a little later. I'm just giving tools of things that you can do that can feed this ray. But also for those who are interested, I am leading a women's retreat at the end of the month, and we're really going to dive deep into these things and do exercises, offer clarity. I'll be giving insights personally to people who join live. So it's just going to be a more expansive experience about, and not even that, they're audibly telling me to say experiential experience, meaning like that I'm going to be talking, but we're also, each person who participates is going to have tangible experiences within their bodies, within their minds, and within their emotions. So the next thing that they said is breath work. I love breath work. You can find breathwork exercises on YouTube. And if you're looking for a practitioner, you could even message me. I am very blessed to know wonderful people who lead breathwork, and I can give you some suggestions, whether you're looking for someone in Zoom or maybe there's someone that we can help you find virtually. But breathwork is a powerful tool. I've used it to help me feel peace and clarity. Hello, Meg. I've used it in many different ways, and it is something that I've been able to even enjoy with my man. We did breath work with Anton, an amazing breath work guide. It was powerful. And I'm actually going to an event tomorrow with 8 members of my family, and we're going to be doing breath work as a family at a group event. So breath work is very powerful. Again, it doesn't have to mean that you spend 30 minutes or an hour or even 20 minutes in breath work, but even just taking small increments during your day to feed your breath, to take in the breath, to savor. They're saying the word savor because I love the idea of savoring, right? Making time for you to savor the breath and feed the body in such a way that that conscious breath moves your whole self into harmony. Again, this is another way to feed this ray. And then the last thing that they said for today for me to share is the words, they said higher consciousness. So taking time to play and explore in the realms of higher consciousness. Hello, Colleen. And when you take time to do that, they audibly said that ray, that part of yourself will come to meet you. And they're moving energy to that. So by taking time to feed and connect with that higher consciousness, it allows this greater you to come meet you in this space and into this place in which this part of you comes to lead you. Right? So this ray, this part, this masterpiece, this mastery within you shows up to show you the way. And again, we'll go more into that in the women's retreat coming up. And my dog wanted to say hi. All right, so let's go back, and then I'm going to answer. Somebody put numbers. So because we have time, I'm going to give you guys guidance on some numbers before we end. So real quick, let me just connect to, they audibly said again, this race connected to the fortress, right? Like feeling fortress. And it's not fortress like you're protecting, like defending, but fortress more that there's a sense of anchoring. There's a sense of, thank you, they're saying home. There's a sense of embodiment that has you feeling the pillar of light and your pillar of confidence and your pillar of embodiment as the feminine, right? So thank you. It maintains that cord, and they're saying the word cord, right? It feeds the cord with source. It feeds the cord with your higher self, with your self-alignment, with God, universe, whatever it is you choose to call it. So that's why it's actually considered ray 1. Because when this is fed, there is an anchor that takes place, the pillar within yourself brings more harmony, not just with your emotions, with your body, with your mindset. It also creates more alignment with everything else that is outside of you because that pillar is being fed first. Okay, so that's why they call it fortress. Protector, they said the word protector and warrior because it's interesting. They were identifying that when it's sorry everybody, my doggy wants to say hi, Buddha wants to say hi. When that energy is in protection more, there is a sense, it's not even protection like what we know as the idea of protector, but the reason they're giving it in that word is because when that ray is off, there is this sense of defense, right? Like you have to guard, you have to fight. There's a sense of like, I must protect. And there's this sense of fear, right? So the deep core is the energy of fear and insecurities and uncertainty, which there's a sense of protection, right? There's a sense of needing to fight. When this ray is in alignment, this sense of protector, the energy of protector takes over in such a way where the divine becomes that. And they're showing me a bubble of light, right? So there is this sense of harmony of knowing that you're being contained. You're being contained by the divine. You're being encapsulated by that sacred love, which is keeping you safe and is guiding you along the way, which goes back into feeding what they identified earlier, that sense of knowing, of faith. And then the warrior, right? When the ray is off balance, there's a warrior, same thing as the whole idea of protection and being a protector, right? You have to fight. There's a sense of like, I have to fight. Like I have to do this on my own. I have to sacrifice. I have to, and they're saying the word bleed, and I hate saying that word, but it's the word I'm hearing, like that sense of like, this throws people off, right? Because it puts you in survival. Mentally, emotionally, physically, it puts you in survival. And when you're in survival, we get clouded, right? It's like the level of resourcefulness that we have with ourselves and outside of us becomes very oblique and hard to connect with. But when this energy is in alignment, that warrior shows up and it leads, right? It knows the way, right? It leads. It knows that it doesn't have to be in battle for that which isn't working, but that it holds dear that which what is working, that which is love, and knows that its sacred job is just to feed it, love it, and ultimately then you're keeping it protected and safe. All right, so if anybody has any questions, please feel free to send me a DM. You can comment on the replay and we'll make sure to answer those questions. Again, this is something I'm going to be doing here in the next few days. I'm talking about each of the rays. There's 7 rays of the feminine embodiment, and they called it the 7 rays of consciousness. For those who are joining here a little later, I'm going to be teaching what I've been getting, the insights that I've been getting from the angels, from these beautiful divine feminine embodiments of love, and what they've been teaching me, and how we are in the feminine embodiment destined to wake these parts of ourselves so that we can experience life in a more expansive way, so that we can heal, so that we can lead, so that we can create. Thank you. And they're audibly saying so that you can find yourself in the gift of divine wholeness, the sacred wholeness that lies within, is what they just said. So we'll be talking about this in the next few days, and we'll talk about each of the rays, and I will talk about what happens when each ray is off and what happens when each ray is in alignment and in flow. And then I'll be giving everyone tools here at the end, which I just did. All right, I'm going to go back to numbers because we had Milan gave us some numbers. So Milan, I hope I'm saying your name right. So he wrote the number 777. If you know me, I love numbers and I love to share guidance on numbers. So 777 represents faith, right? Faith and trusting that everything is working out, right? That, thank you. And they're saying lucky, but I think that makes me think more of Vegas or playing the slots, but they're kind of like giggling in that idea. Like if you see 777, they're saying that for some people, and it might be for you specifically, Milan, does that represents lucky. Like just smile and add a little skip to your walk because you're lucky. Things are about to look up. Thank you. Things are about to go your way. You're about to get lucky with blessings and things along the way. He also wrote the number 34. So 3 represents mastery for me, and 4 represents angel blessings, divine blessings. That thank you. That divine is leading the way. So when 3 and 4 are mixed together, I feel like it's an invitation to feed your mastery, to trust your genius, to take care of what it is you're here to do, and really show up and deliver it as much as feed it. And with combination of 4 is that the divine source, angels, wherever you feel guided, is lighting the way. They're saying the word lighting, which is not what I was going to say, but they're telling me to say lighting the way, to show you how to bring your purpose into the world, and in such a way that allows you to really own the mastery and the genius that's been put inside of you. Okay? Yay! I'm seeing your yes. Okay, and then there was another number. It kind of moved up. And 35. So we talked about, we talked about the mastery. I just hit my dog accidentally. 3 being mastery. 5 to me represents positive change. Good things, and they're saying this for you again. Good things are coming, right? 5 positive changes, good things are coming. They're going like that to your chin, like, chin up. Good things are coming. And it's funny because as I'm saying that 5, they're telling me to say again, it's lucky. If you see 5 and 7, it's lucky. And again, this could just be connected for you specifically, but if they're saying it here in a live for everyone, this is for everyone who feels inspired and they start seeing these numbers. So celebrating that. And I just saw a few others. So let's do it real quick because we have more time. Love this. 7 rays. Yes, Erica, the 7 rays. Hello, Mosaic. It's Mosaic. I always say that wrong. Good to see you. All right, let's see here. 311, an interesting one I see a lot, but have never known what it means, but been seeing lots of 333 and 888. So for me, as I mentioned, 3 is mastery. You're being invited to step into your mastery, but also to trust that you're being led into your mastery. So this is what's interesting. I have been shown 3 when things have not been going their best. And what the angels have told me is that I'm learning to master myself. I'm learning to put to practice what I'm mastering, right? Because I'm very grateful that I've worked with thousands of people, and my role is not just to talk about it, but to learn the process so that I can give people practical tools to move forward in life, to grow, to learn, to thrive outside of circumstances and even outside of chaos. So 333 sometimes, and 3 sometimes show up to let you know you're in the path of mastery, but also as an invitation to feed your genius, to feed your mastery, but also think you set it free. And Erica, for you specifically, they're saying it's time to set it free. So claiming that, I know you're very gifted. I love Erica with her intuition and her gifts as well. I love all of you that are joining, and thank you very much. But for you specifically, they're saying it's time, and they're like snapping their fingers, like it's time. And then 11 to me, 11 represents creation. So take time to create, take time to give thought, emotion to that which it is you really want versus the things that aren't working. So when you see 11, you're being invited, thank you, to take a deep breath. For some of you, I'm audibly hearing that it represents the Christ consciousness. Take time in prayer. Take time to invite the Christ consciousness. Take time to invite the Holy Spirit. Again, this is for some people. It's different for all of us because they're telling me it's different for several people listening. And again, the 11 shows up to also invite you to own and understand that you have a role to play with what's happening in your life, right? That you're not there just to be a bystander, to just be responding to everything that's showing up, but to understand that you have a role to play with your emotions, with your focus, with your thoughts, and what it is that you want and what it is that you want to create. So that's 11. And then 888. 888 is one of my favorite numbers because to me it represents love and union and yumminess in that direction, but also abundance, right? So it's like most people want to enjoy love and abundance. So that number is just delicious in every way possible. So it's one of my favorite numbers. So when I see 8, I get excited. I'm like, yes, I'm being blessed with love. I'm being blessed with abundance. I'm being blessed with, it's funny because they're audibly telling me. So one thing, I haven't said this in a while, but I used to say twinkle toes, right? So I saw these beautiful things aligning. I'm in twinkle toes, like celebrating that, my twinkle toes, kind of like the same thing as Dorothy in her red shoes. But instead of just clicking my heels, I'm also jumping around and dancing. But 888 represents abundance for me, creation. They're saying for me to add creation, but abundance and love. So thank you so much for all of you who joined live, Milan, Erica, and everyone who's sending in questions and thoughts. I appreciate you. I'm not seeing all of them, but I appreciate you, Colleen, Meg, Anne-Marie, Adam. And again, I know I had a few other people who made comments. Thank you so much for being part of the live. And if you're joining replay, I appreciate you. And I trust that Milan, thank you so much for that, letting me know. Thank you so much. You guys have a beautiful night. Much love. And if you have any questions about the upcoming retreat, please send me a message, or any questions about anything that was shared, please let us know. All right, much love. Mwah on IG, mwah on Facebook. And I trust everyone's going to have a beautiful day. See you. Beautiful day. Hey, Scott, you're joining a little late, but I'm waving and saying hi to you too. You guys have a good one and take care. Bye.